And for 4 months, valuable FD.
Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. Today is the 21st of December 2022. I am Jama Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. Here are your headlines for tonight. Electricity tariffs to be increased from January 2023. Prolonged power cuts will not occur. Legal action to be taken against false claims. Minister Kanchana and engineers trade unions at loggerheads. National Savings Bank hikes interest rates on loans. People with political connections have evaded paying back loans. A revelation from the Workers' Union of the Bank of Ceylon. Eric Solheim meets TNA. Discusses ethnic issues and foreign investment. 20,000 rupee allowance to be given to farmers to cultivate paddy in the Maha season. In a top story for tonight, Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Vijayasekara says that a mandatory electricity tariff revision will be imposed in January 2023. He said in future, electricity tariffs will be amended every 6 months.
We hope to present detailed information to the Cabinet on how electricity bills should be increased by next week. I believe the next Cabinet meeting will take place on the 2nd of January. So we will provide a detailed report. We are working to revise electricity tariffs in the month of January. Between 270 to 300 billion additional rupees are required. The new fee system is adjusted in such a way to fulfill this requirement. The Public Utilities Commission is bound to implement this legally. This is proposed to be done once in 6 months. The revision scheduled to take place in January will be the major revision.
The
minister stated that although the chairman of the PUCSL is of the opinion that electricity tariffs should not be increased, it is not the opinion of the PUCSL.
His personal opinion is not the opinion of the Public Utilities Commission. We are talking to the other officials. They always say that statements made by the PUCSL chairman should not be taken as the view of the PUCSL. I think he has hopes of getting into politics. He is using this opportunity to get into the national list. He supported the SLPP. He even gave his office premises to the SLPP. If he is planning to contest, then that will definitely be for the SLPP. I saw him saying that he has worked for several other parties as well.
Yesterday, the Electrical Engineers Union warned that there is a risk of 10-hour power cuts occurring as a result of the operations of the Norachole power plant being disrupted owing to the delay in the process of purchasing coal. However, Minister Kanchana Vijayasekara denied this claim today and classified it as false. In a scathing statement against Electrical Engineers Union, the minister said he will take legal action against the claim.
The claim made saying that there will definitely be 10 to 12 hour power cuts is a false one. One reservation we have is whether the chairman of the Engineers Union is truly an engineer himself. We do not intend to suspend operations of the 3 power generators at any point. Neither do we intend to do so. In terms of the categorically false claims made by the chairman of the union, I advised the general manager and the ministry secretary yesterday to seek guidance from the Attorney General to take maximum legal and disciplinary action against them. Although they are a trade union, they cannot act like a terrorist organization.
The
minister was also critical of several irregularities within the Engineers Union.
I wish to thank the PUCSL because it issued a letter stating not to provide any sort of bonus or allowance to officials. That might be the reason that prompted the union to make this false statement with the intention of enraging the people. When we were planning to introduce the electricity amendment bill, two members of the union conspired and left the country in the dark for several hours. A POCSL report says at that time they had attempted to generate power through diesel and furnace oil, while there was a possibility to generate power through hydropower. We conducted an inquiry and removed two main engineers from service. The union is constantly requesting for these two to be reinstated. During Gotabaya Rajapaksa's tenure as president, they turned off a generator at the Norachole power plant and caused 13 to 14-hour power cuts. This happened on two occasions. We are in the process of concluding investigations into them. Those reports will be presented to Parliament on the 5th of January, and steps will be taken to institute disciplinary and legal action against those officials as well. Several outsourced companies are owned by members of the engineers union themselves.
මේ සමාගම් මේ අර අවුට්සෝස් කරලා දීලා තියෙන ආයතන. ඉතින් මේ සමාගම් මේ කට්ටියකම තමයි.
The CEB Engineers Union convened a press conference and responded to the minister's accusations.
We have the responsibility to bring these 38 coal ships as soon as possible. After making this statement, if they are planning to take legal action against us, I can't comprehend the knowledge that this minister possesses. What is the use of my career as an engineer if I do not practice what those professors in my university taught me? If we are able to bring down the shipments as soon as possible, it would be great.
මගේ යන්නේ ඉංජිනේරු වෘත්තියෙන් ඇති වැදගත්කම මොකද්ද? ඉතුරු නැව් ටික ගෙන්න ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් දැන් 5යි. ඉතුරු නැව් 33 ගෙන්න ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. හරිෂෝ. ඔබතුමා ඊයේ කියපු දේ ඉල්ලාස් කරගන්න සූදානමක් තියෙනවද? එයි මම මෙහෙම ප්‍රකාශ ඉල්ලාස් කරගන්නේ. මම කියලා තියෙන්නේ.
Why should I take back these statements? I have said the truth. We didn't make this statement to instill fear. We just informed them. We had no intention to scare them or anyone. Taking disciplinary action means that either I will be brought before the law of the country or there is a disciplinary legal procedure in the company. I know how the law can be enforced. I am ready to face it. If the minister gets the coal on time, there is no problem. If that's the case, then they don't have to take legal action against me. The people won't have any problem and we will welcome him with a round of applause. Maybe he felt the need to get this done because of the statement we made.
Did Minister Kanchana Wijesekara deny claims of 10-hour power cuts, since it has now been confirmed that there will be disruptions to the continuous supply of coal to the Norachole power plant?
Only 33 consignments are required. Of that, only 12 are needed to be purchased through the new procurement process. The other 21 have been purchased under last year's term tender process. A spot tender had been obtained in the recent past and 2 consignments were left under that tender. If we are unable to import 33 consignments, we have plans in place to get them down by the 25th of April. The next plan is to import them to the Trincomalee harbour and then transport them to Norachole. We do not plan to go for 10 to 12-hour power cuts in January like the chairman of the Engineers Union claims. We will not let that happen either. We have notified to channel every rupee generated by the CEB this month towards the purchasing of coal. We cannot help if salaries and bonuses are delayed.
However, Lanka Coal Company says stocks of coal in its possession are only sufficient until the 2nd of January 2023. Chairman of Lanka Coal Company, Shehan Sumanasekara, says power generation on the 3rd and 4th of January could be affected since a consignment of coal will not arrive on the scheduled date as a result of a delay at a port in South Africa. The vessel is expected to arrive in Sri Lanka on the 6th of January. 6 vessels containing 60,000 metric tons of coal each are expected to arrive in Sri Lanka during the month of January. The chairman of the Lanka Coal Company revealed payments for 3 of the vessels have been settled, while the others will be completed within the next week.
While extended power cuts and electricity tariffs have grabbed headlines once more, another discourse has emerged over a decision by state-owned commercial banks to increase interest rates on loans. Multiple state banks had taken steps yesterday to inform customers of the matter via SMS. The National Savings Bank, Sri Lanka's main state-owned bank, had forwarded an SMS to its customers yesterday notifying that interest rates on loans have been increased to 15%, adding it will come to effect from the 20th of December. A further inquiry on the matter by Newsfirst revealed that this hike is also applicable to loans obtained under fixed interest rates. Accordingly, interest rates have been increased by 3% on loans obtained under fixed interest rates for less than 2 years.
The Ceylon Bank Employees Union convened a press conference today and emphasized that people with political connections to the two main state banks have not paid nearly 200 billion rupees of debt.
Currently, there is a debt of close to 2 trillion rupees. That means that the first 10 government institutions have almost 2 trillion in defaults. And on the other hand, if we consider businessmen and personal loans, the amount is almost 200 billion. In this way, the loans obtained by the powerful, who obtain political favors and have large political influence, are mostly in the top 10 list in these two main state banks. Due to the increase in the interest rates of the loans given to the people and the increase in other interest rates in the country, the banking system is at serious risk. There is a cap on individual loans based on the availability of capital of the bank. It is in the central bank regulations. In 2007, according to the central bank's guidance and regulations, the government and some government agencies have removed the cap on these limits, resulting in loans being provided unconditionally. That's how they have taken such loans. The affluent people in possession of these inactive assets in the banking system, powerful people default on loans from state banks by exerting political influence under various governments of the country. Then, in these budget proposals, we have a problem when we create an inactive asset management company and take over these loans from the banking system to that particular company. Even as of today, the economic experts of the country have not explained how to clean the balance sheets of the banking system. Therefore, as a responsible association, we declare that this is a method to cut off the loans given to their henchmen in various governments in the past, while trying to slash this debt through the funds of the working masses. It is very clear that the creation of this non-profiting asset management company is based on the bad bank concept of budget proposal. Electricity bills, bank interest rates and personal income tax have gone up by a high percentage. From the 31st of January, 6 to 36% income tax will be levied on incomes above 100,000 rupees. The Government Medical Officers Association started signing a public petition today, pointing out that this taxation is not fair.
In the last 10 to 12 years alone, the tax income due to large-scale theft in the country was billions of rupees. After the media reported that the country has lost more than 700 billion rupees due to tax evasion. It has been revealed to the Economic Stabilization Committee of Parliament that it is at a level where more than 200 billion can be collected through villages. Therefore, all these professionals have been crushed and are under severe pressure. We have put forward plans that can be executed. Today we start the process of signing a doctor's petition to hand over to the President.
The Students' Council of the Peradeniya University staged a protest today.
The protests were staged demanding an immediate stop to the suppression of students. The group launched the protest from the Student Council office and marched towards the college house.
Why are university students being suppressed this way? It is clear to us that the Ranil Rajapaksa government is in fear. They are unable to solve the problems of the people, so they are planning to suppress the students who take to the streets, demanding solutions to the people's problems.
Former Member of Parliament Neomal Pereira was summoned to the Criminal Investigation Department today. He had been summoned in connection with the investigation into the incident of setting fire to Ranil Wickremesinghe's residence.
I have been summoned here because they claim that I have information about the incident in which the house of the former Prime Minister and the incumbent President were set on fire. They have summoned me to record a statement. Such things have never been done by me or my family. There are no complaints anywhere. I see this as political revenge.
A mysterious fire broke out at the Akkareipattu court complex this morning.
The police said that due to the fire, many documents related to the proceedings of the court registry were destroyed. The police stated that the fire broke out around 3 a.m. this morning. The fire was extinguished with the intervention of the Akkareipattu Fire Brigade by 10 a.m. No injuries were reported from the incident. The cause of the blaze is yet to be ascertained and further investigations are underway.
Police announced that they are working to obtain a report on the telephone records of 4 people, including Tani Shafter and Brian Thomas, in connection to the murder of respected businessman Dinesh Shafter. An order was issued in this regard by Colombo Additional Magistrate Harshana Kekunuvela to 4 telecommunication providers yesterday. Meanwhile, the comprehensive report on the murder is currently being prepared by Colombo Judicial Medical Officer Ruhul Haq. Previously, the Boralla police presented facts to court that Shafter had been strangled to death. Investigations are being carried out continuously by the Organised Crimes and Homicide Investigation Division of the CID, which operates under the Deputy Inspector General of Police. They employ different teams 24 hours a day and carry out these investigations. Investigations are carried out to obtain scientific, technical and other forms of evidence. The Homicide and Organised Crimes Division alone has recorded more than 42 statements from various individuals. The Boralla police obtained over 8 pieces of evidence in the first instance alone. The Boralla police will extend the necessary support to the CID. We will arrest the suspect as soon as he or she is identified.
විමර්ශනවලදී අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීමක් නැත්නම් ඍජු අපි සැකකරුවෙක් හඳුනා ගැනීමක් මෙතෙක් කර නැහැ. අපි හඳුනාගත් විගසව අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීම කටයුතු කරනවා.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says that the country's education system has collapsed.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa donated the 47th school bus under the Sakvala program to the Topavava National School in Polonnaruwa this morning.
රණසිංහ ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා මේ රටේ ත්‍රස්තවාදී යුද්ධ දෙකක් තිබෙන අවස්ථාවේදී.
How did Ranasinghe Premadasa manage to provide school uniforms and lunch when there were 2 wars in this country? There is a clear philosophy and theory behind the program of providing these buses, and that is everyone should have equal access to education. There should not be any division. He gave orders to provide lunch to school children because children should not faint when they go to school. What is the status now? I wish to tell the fools who criticize without knowing what has happened, I donated the bus to avoid division in education. We must create a digitalized education revolution. We will definitely create an IT and English language revolution. I say this now, we will take up that responsibility.
ඒ දේ ඉෂ්ට සිද්ධ කිරීමේ වගකීම අපි බාර ගන්නවායි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Police checked bags of school students for illegal drugs in several areas today. Inspections were also conducted in many schools at the Kotakala town in Nuwara as well. According to the Ministry of Education, a decision has been reached to appoint school committees to inspect school bags of students. The ministry said that the relevant committees should consist of teachers, student leaders and representatives of school development societies. This decision was reached during a meeting headed by Minister of Education Susil Premajayantha.
In the spirit of giving this Christmas, you can donate stationery items to school students battered by the country's economic crisis. You can donate books, colouring books, pencils, pastels, rulers and colouring pencils among other stationery items to the Sirasa Shakti Pot Yatra book donation drive.
The Sirasa Shakti Pot Yatra book donation drive will continue until the 24th of December and you can donate exercise books, colouring books, pencils, pastels, rulers and colour pencils among others to the following collection points. Head Office of the Capital Maharaja Group in Colombo 2, the Panama Studio Complex, Stein Studios Ratmalana, Echelon Square in Colombo and Kandy City Centre. The stationery items that you donate will be delivered directly to the children during Christmas.
More news follows after this short commercial break. Stay tuned to Primetime News.
News First, main sponsor.
25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD. 25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD.
Welcome back to the news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed Dinesh Virakodi as chairman of the Board of Investment. According to the President's Media Division, the other board members are Dr. Dushni Veerakon, Chandani Vijayawardena and Eraj De Silva.
A 20,000 rupees allowance will be given to the farmers to cultivate paddy in the Maha season.
We would like
to say that as of now, the ADB has provided us with a grant. This was done following the request of the President, the ministerial level discussions and discussions with the Agrarian Development Department. The decision was reached in line with strengthening the international relations. Allocations have been made so that every farmer is provided with financial support necessary for cultivation. This amount will not have to be repaid by the government or by the farmers. This is purely aid. 8 billion rupees has been allocated for this. These funds will be debited directly to the farmers. 10,000 rupees will be provided to the farmers cultivating 1 hectare or less. 20,000 rupees for up to 2 hectares. This aid will not be provided to companies cultivating more than 2 hectares. It is only provided to individuals.
හෙක්ටාර් දෙකට වැඩි කියන්නේ සමාගම් එහෙම තියෙනවා ලොකු ඒවට මේ සහනේ ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ පුද්ගලයන්ට තමයි මේ සහනේ ලැබෙන්නේ.
Norwegian Minister Erik Solheim, who has been appointed as the presidential advisor on climate change, held discussions with political parties in Sri Lanka over the past few days. However, what sort of discussions were held between a climate change advisor and political parties? Here is an in-depth look into the matter.
Erik Solheim has emerged as a controversial figure during the years 2000 to 2005. He worked as a special peace envoy during the peace process between the LTTE and the Sri Lankan government. Following the appointment of the incumbent president, Solheim was appointed as the international advisor on climate change, and he also participated in the COP27 conference along with the president. Solheim, who has been in the country for the past few days, met and held discussions with the Tamil Alliance, Tamil Progressive Alliance, Muslim Congress, Environment Minister Mohammed Nasir and opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. Yesterday, he met with the leader of the Tamil National Alliance, R. Sambandhan, and later issued a tweet saying that Sambandhan said in this meeting that the time has come to solve the economic and ethnic problems of Sri Lanka. Solheim further tweeted that he is ready to give maximum effort together with the TNA to find solutions.
The question arises as to whether Erik Solheim came to Sri Lanka because of the climate or to take over our country. Ranil Wickremesinghe and all the ministers of the current government say they are working on an internal mechanism to solve the national problem. But a question arises as to what the international mechanism is. While Ranil Wickremesinghe is carrying out subtle activities to trap the people of the country through the internal mechanisms, Erik Solheim is sacrificing our country through these international mechanisms.
Erik Solheim அவர்கள் இருக்கின்றார்கள்.
Erik Solheim left as a mediator of the peace process after Mahinda Rajapaksa became president in 2005. What is the opinion of the Podujana Peramuna, led by Mahinda Rajapaksa, regarding his intervention?
Erik Solheim මහත්තයා ලංකාවේ ඉන්නේ. Erik Solheim මහත්තයා. හැබැයි ඔබතුමාලාගේ කාලේ එතකොට අපි පෞගේ ආණ්ඩුවල ගත්තම ඔබතුමාලාගේ කාලේ දැඩි විවේචනය කරපු පුදුක Erik Solheim මහත්තයා. ආණ්ඩුව කාලේ Erik Solheim ආවා. නමුත් දැන් ලංකාවට ඉදලා ඒකේ උත්සවයට සහභාගී වෙන මාස සාකච්ඡා පොතන ඔබතුමාලාගේ දැන් ඒ පිළිබඳව තියෙන මත මිත්‍රශීලී රටක් නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව.
Sri Lanka is a friendly country. He was here during Mahinda Rajapaksa's time and even visited during Chandrika's time. This is nothing new. If a criminal had arrived, then you can question it. But Erik Solheim is a former deputy minister of Norway.
Solheim කියන්නේ නෝර්වේ රාජ්‍යයේ නියෝජ්‍ය විදිහට කියන්නේ නේ ඔය කියන්නේ. හැබැයි ඔබතුමාලා කලින් දැඩි විවේචනය කරන්නේ ද ලංකාවට පැමිණ. ඉතින් දැන් විවේචනය කරන්න මුකුත් නැහැ නේ අපිට.
Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, planted an endemic plant to Sri Lanka to mark the 75th Indian Independence Day today. The anniversary event took place at the Wet Zone Botanical Gardens of Sitavaka in Avissawella.
In line with the 75th Indian Independence Day anniversary, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Gopal Bagle planted an endemic plant to Sri Lanka at the Wet Zone Botanical Gardens of Sitawaka in Avisavella. The wet zone is home to many endemic species and it plays a very special role in safeguarding and conserving the endemic plants.
We are two nations that have been together, exchanged all the richness of our nations. We are situated in one of the richest biodiversity areas in the wet zone. One of the rare species of our flowers, the Vesak flower, blooms only in this area during the season of Vesak. These botanical gardens, which is not only for one generation, but generations to come.
The promotion of green policies, green energy, the promotion of renewable energy are therefore some of those areas in which India is very happy to partner very closely with our friends and colleagues in Sri Lanka under the guidance of Sri Lanka's leadership. This is just not a place of scientific quest where endemic species are being preserved, but it is open to the people to come here and be with nature. So I think this is also a common heritage that we have in India and Sri Lanka, that not only we use our natural resources for the national development, but also inculcating in our people the motivation and the love to preserve our natural heritage and natural resources.
7 Chinese Buddhist temples and thousands of devotees have collected around 410 million rupees to launch a charity project to support disadvantaged Sri Lankan people. In a tweet, the Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka says 50,000 food boxes will be gifted to all communities via temples across Sri Lanka from next week.
Against the backdrop where the people of the country continue to suffer because of the economic crisis, Gammadda took the initiative to lend a helping hand to those who need it most. In line with Christmas, Gammadda is distributing dry ration packages to people burdened by the financial difficulties across the island. Dry ration packs were distributed in the Mathura district today.
Gammadda took an initiative to bring some joy to the lives of these people. Gammadda teams visited the Mathura district to lend a helping hand to the people in the area. The teams distributed dry ration packs among the people in Waligama, Battawala, Halalla, Ahangama and Indurangwila in the Mathura district.
Taking a look at news from overseas, a committee in the US House of Representatives has voted to make public 6 years of Donald Trump's tax returns. The move caps a nearly 4-year legal battle by Democrats to obtain the documents, which was ultimately decided by the US Supreme Court last month.
US presidents are not required by law to release their tax returns, but for decades they have done so voluntarily. The former president has fought hard to shield his tax returns. The US House Ways and Means Committee voted 24-16 on Tuesday evening to publish the documents, with all Democrats on the panel in favor and all Republicans opposed. It is unclear when the public will see the financial documents, which stem from 2015 to 2020, when Trump was running for president and serving in the White House. The returns could offer a first-hand look into Trump's finances, including his assets, sources of income, charitable contribution and liabilities, including the possibility of loans owed to foreign entities.
And with that, it's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. However, stay tuned to News First on TV1 as Face the Nation is up next. For the News First team, I am Jaimal Ratnayaka. Take care and good night.
News First, main sponsor.
25% for 2 months.